Hello, everybody. Welcome to the MTG Place podcast. I'm your host, Corey. With me today is Josh. How's it going?
What's up, everybody?
Before we jump on the main topic today, this show is sponsored by Ironguard Supplies. We love their sleeves, top loaders, and accessories. You can get 20% off at ironguardsupplies.com using our coupon code MTG Place.
Yeah, and today we'll be talking about the rares from the set, giving you our thoughts on the card design, where it lies within Magic ecosystem. We'll be judging these mostly on like a commander lens, but with like legacy and cube in mind. Most of these rares will be bomb and limited draft anyway. So let's start off with WUB. I think we're doing today with Ajani Noctical Pariah. 1 and a white for a 1/2 Cat Warrior legendary creature. When he enters the battlefield, create a 2/1 Cat Warrior creature token. Then whenever one or more other cats you control die, you may exile Ajani, then return him to the battlefield transformed as Ajani Noctical Avenger. He's a 3 loyalty planeswalker, +2 activated, put a +1/+1 counter on each cat you control. And for 0 loyalty, create a 2/1 Cat Warrior creature token. When you do, if you control a red permanent other than Ajani, he deals damage equal to the number of creatures you control to any target. Then his ultimate, -4, each opponent chooses an artifact, creature, enchantment, and a planeswalker from among the non-land permanents they control, then sacrifices the rest. So kind of a lot to unpack here, but they're bringing back flip planeswalkers, which is amazing. I love the storytelling in this. It's like where the planeswalkers got their spark. They've been doing this for like Jace is a famous one.
Mm-hmm.
Lore wise, like this is awesome. You can really see he's got his spark after his brother like died and really ignited him. And all of these planeswalkers are like one color from the front, and then in the back they care about another color other than what they do. So you want to think about that in limited format or however you're building it.
Well, it matters more for Commander than Limited, probably, because of color identity.
This can only be a Boros card.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that seems insane in a cat deck.
Yeah, for sure. Dealing damage to any target with that 0 activated ability on the back.
Yeah.
That's huge. Hitting your opponent's face is pretty huge. Equal to the number of creatures you control, too. It doesn't have to care about cats at that point, which is cool. And that's as soon as you flip. Like it doesn't care about him flipping about the certain token you made. Like it doesn't need to be his brother or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a cat.
The only weird thing is like when you +2, you're putting a 1/1 counter on all your cats, right? Well, then you have to do that in order to get to the -4, and like the -4 is gonna be anti you having a big board.
That's true. I think you just keep plussing them, and then it's like an oh crap button.
Yeah.
You don't really need to like build up to that ultimate. You're like, oh no, he's going to get to that ultimate. Like when you're like winning on the board, which most planeswalkers are like that. You're right.
Yeah, I feel like it's more like just you're going to keep buffing your board until all of a sudden they board wipe you or something, and then you're like, okay, well now everybody is going to be board wiped.
Yep. Now, is this the transform it's already on the battlefield? So would he get the loyalty counters? Are you putting them on him with like doubling season? I'm thinking about doubling season.
So no, this one you exile it first, then flip him back.
Then return him to the battlefield. Yeah. That's right. Okay. So I think doubling season will work on this. Getting the planeswalker side. So
yes, it will.
Interesting. I mean, he cares about counters and tokens. He's going to be with doubling season.
Yeah.
Cats are usually Naya.
Yeah, usually. Seems awesome.
Yeah, seems fun.
It's been a while since we've had a good Ajani.
True. Yeah.
I like the artwork, too. It's almost like he's jumping out of the card.
Yeah. It's epic. It's got the mountain in the background just to make sure you want red. Awesome.
Next up, we got the Argent Dias. I can't ever pronounce that word.
Mm-hmm.
One and a white for an artifact. When it enters the battle, or it enters the battlefield, 2 oil counters on it. Okay, some more oil counters. Whenever 2 or more creatures attack, put an oil counter on it. You can pay 2 tap, remove 2 oil counters from it. Exile a target non-land permanent. Its controller draws 2 cards. I don't know about
Okay.
the drawing 2 cards.
Yeah, it's removal on a stick. It's a permanent, so it keeps going, keeps going. But the draw 2 cards, how big of a downside is that? Pretty,
Is it
pretty.
good enough to play and just get rid of your own tokens to draw 2 for 2 mana?
Ooh, yeah,
It's not
yeah.
horrible.
That's not horrible. Especially like you want to be playing tokens. I mean, you have to attack with 2 or more creatures, and usually that's flooding the board with tokens.
Mm.
That's interesting that you actually hit yourself.
Yeah, because it says it's controller, so you could hit yourself to
Yep.
draw 2.
Yep. So I was like, yeah, that's a big downside. Like you need a hit like that.
Or if they pacify your creature, just like, okay, I'm gonna draw 2 cards.
Yeah, right, right.
Or you could get rid of the pacify, I guess. But
True. But still, you draw 2 cards.
I feel like in a go wide deck, you don't care about getting rid of 1 token to draw 2.
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
but Skull Clamp still might just be better at that point. But
Yep. For sure.
if you want a
2 mana
redundant
tap.
effect, I guess.
But Skull Clamp doesn't also play as removal. I mean, yeah,
That's true.
you can go off with Skull Clamp, which is the most broken part about it. But this is also acts as removal, so it's
Yeah, and you can get rid of anything that's not a land. So if they're about to win the game, you're just like, okay, remove that.
it's instant speed. Yeah.
Like, yeah, you get 2 cards, but I stop you from winning at least. That's
Yeah.
where you'd use it.
Yep. They play Laboratory Maniac. You get it out instant speed.
I think it's versatile enough that you could play it.
Yeah.
I think I would want to tend to lean towards more to be able to use it on myself more than the opponent, though.
Right. It's both the 2 or more creatures to attack
Mm.
and being the draw 2 cards yourself. We'll have to see it. It's interesting, that's for sure. All right, we got Flare of Fortitude. 2 white for 4 mana instant. Oh, they made a cycle of these where they're free to cast as long as you sacrifice the appropriate color. So this one, you may sacrifice a non-token white creature rather than pay the spell's mana cost. And this one, until end of turn, your life total can't change, and permanents you control gain hexproof and indestructible.
So another protection spell.
Right. White kind of gets these now. What is the... I know there's that white free spell, as long as you have your commander out.
Yep.
Wouldn't you just rather have that than being able to have to
Yeah.
sacrifice a
I mean,
non...
you could. Also, Teferi's protection only costs 3.
Yeah, yeah. But this could be free.
Well, I mean, you sack a creature, like.
Yeah. I guess, like, now that I'm thinking about it, like, this is the protection from the board wipe. You have that board. You just have to sack one of your guys. Like, okay, yeah, you
Yeah,
got...
I mean, there's a lot, especially if you're playing like white red. There's Boros Charms. For like green, there's Heroic Intervention. Like,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
more. I think this is more if you just want a redundant effect and you're playing mono white, because then you're going to have the white creatures all the time.
Yeah. But those you do have to hold up mana for. This, you could just keep playing out your dudes.
Yeah, but what's
Don't have
2
to-
and 3 mana? Like,
Yeah, that is true. Once you get to a certain point, that's more like focused on like 1v1s than like Commander. Commander, you can usually float quite a bit of mana.
yeah.
All
I
right.
mean, it'll definitely be good in 1v1 games like constructed.
Yeah, that's where it looks like you can really just keep up that tempo without sacrificing anything. Because this is not like one of those pitch spells where you need another thing, like another white card. Like this is just on the board.
Yeah, you just need something on the board that's not a token.
Which that's what this was trying to protect, is the board. You're playing to the board. So I don't know. Yeah, I could see it more in the 60s. But you got other stuff in Commander. Probably right on that.
I mean, it's still you can play it for 0, so you don't have to hold the mana. So there is that.
Yeah,
So if you
yeah.
want that effect, I guess. Like I said, or if you want the redundant, like at this point, there's like 5 or 6 white cards that do this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it's do you want to one that costs 4 or 0, or do you want one that costs 3, or do you want one that costs 2? Like,
Yeah. It's got some competition.
next up, we got Guide of Souls. Is 1 white mana for a 1/2 human cleric. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, you gain a life and get an energy counter. Okay, that's already better than Soul Warden. Whenever you attack, you may pay energy. When you do, put 2+1 counters and a flying counter on target attacking creature. It becomes an angel in addition to its other types.
You can't do that multiple times. It's just that it's that one trigger. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, the whenever you attack, but you don't have to attack with this. You can attack with anything.
Yes. Anything. Yep.
And you make one thing get 2/1 counters that have flying. Well, actually, and a flying. Yeah, so they both have to go on the same creature. But just the whenever you play a creature, you gain 1 life and an energy. Like that's
Mm.
gonna snowball. Especially with
Correction on
tokens.
Soul Warden counts as your opponents.
Yeah, okay.
That's huge. But I feel like not to
Okay,
skip
it's a
ahead
better
a
than like
bit.
Soul Attendant then or whatever. The one that
Yeah.
only is yours. But
Not to skip ahead too far, but I remember there was like this Primal Prayers, this green enchantment that says you may cast creature spells with mana value 3 or less by paying energy rather than paying their mana costs.
hmm.
So I wonder if there's like this infinite combo you could do, like a 1-drop, like a Shrieking Drake come in. You get an energy, you gain a life, but then Shrieking Drake will bounce it back to its hand, your hand, and then you pay that 1 energy from the new one. Just have this infinite loop of just playing a creature over and over and over again, gaining infinite life.
Probably is some dumb loop with it. I mean, this just reminds me. This just like, well, is this good enough to make Norton Sisters a thing again in Modern?
Yeah, true, true.
Because that used to be a pretty good deck. You gain like 40, 50 life and make a bunch of dudes.
Yeah.
I like
Um,
this card. It's a lot for 1 mana.
yes, yes, and I feel like that we're going to say that a lot in this set. I'm so hyped. Speaking of another 1 mana hype card, the Ocelot Pride. So 1 white for 1/1 cat with first strike and lifelink. It has ascend. So once you have 10 or more permanents, you ascend at the beginning of your end step. If you've gained life this turn, which all you need to do is attack with this, create a 1/1 white cat creature token. Then if you have the city's blessing, for each token you control that's entered the battlefield this turn, create a token that's a copy of it.
That's insane. For 1 mana?
This is a 1/1 creature.
What?
First strike and lifelink. You don't even need to ascend, and it starts making creatures. And then
And then
you,
when you do ascend, you're making 2/1/1s at the minimum. Like,
yep, of whatever token you made, whatever token you made.
right. So if you make other tokens, you get more.
Yeah, this seems so fun.
This seems really good.
Yeah,
The cat commander decks are getting all really better with this set, it looks like.
yeah. It might. Yeah. So Commander, this is going to be an all-star, but like 60s, I guess it does get like overran pretty quickly. It's just a 1/1 first strike. They just play a bear, and like you're kind of stuck.
Yeah, but if you're playing like mono white aggro, this is probably pretty good in it.
Yeah. Yep.
Because you play
Plus,
this, and then you play the other thing that can give stuff flying. Like,
mhm. It just triggers off of life gain as well. So if you have like some food token or something, you're making a cat.
right. Or like revitalize or something.
Anything, yeah. Or the creature right before it, Guide to
Yeah,
Soul.
that's what I'm saying. Like, it's probably gonna be good if you just play like mono white with that into this. Like,
Just making so many tokens. Yeah.
then you have the white control dudes. It's decks coming together there. Yeah, so this is bonkers. All right, next card is Pearl Ear Imperial Advisor. 1 white for a 3/4 legendary creature Fox Advisor with lifelink. Enchantment spells you cast have affinity for auras, and whenever you cast an aura spell that targets a modified permanent you control, draw a card.
Dang. Affinity for auras? That's so fun.
Yeah, and if you already have an aura on something, you're basically going to draw a card every time.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Yep. Or if you have, your handy dandy Swiftfoot boots or Lightning
Well,
Greaves.
it's too
That's,
bad your Ivy deck doesn't have white in it, huh?
yeah, I know. I know. That would be so nice. But it's also enchantment spells. They're not like aura spells have affinity. It's all enchantment spells. So that could be
Right,
interesting.
but they have affinity for auras, so you also
Yeah,
need
yeah.
auras.
So you want auras. That's true, but could be interesting. Aura spell that targets modified permanent you control, draw a card. Is there an aura spell? I'm pretty sure there was in Future Sight, this blue one that has like an equip. Is there?
I have
Is this,
no idea.
blue aura equip. I don't know. It doesn't find it quick. That would be nuts.
I mean,
There's an
there's like you could play something like the thing like whenever you cast a spell, put a 1/1 and all your creatures or something, and then like you're just always going to draw cards.
Yep.
I don't know.
Yep. Because they'll be modified.
Yeah,
I'm reading there's this one, it's pretty bad, but there's some auras that can bounce themselves back to their hand. And so then they're already cheaper when you're casting something as an aura. Start drawing some cards that way. I don't know. I
yeah.
like reading that line affinity for auras. It's fun.
It is going to be powerful.
Yep. Yep. Auras are that type of like deck though. Like you're already into it, so this is going to be slotting right into your
Right.
aura deck. So we'll move on to Philia, the exuberant shepherd. 1 and a white for a 2/2 legendary dog. It's got flash, and when it attacks up to one or exile up to one other target non-land permanent. At the beginning of the next end step, return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control. If it entered the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on Philia. This is
So
flash.
basically, you're going to flash it in on the end of their turn so that you can attack with it and flicker right away.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, this is going to be a good pup. Lots of ETBs are going to be going to town off of this.
It's also always nice to have flash on your commander.
Yep. So yeah, as a commander, okay. I don't know if you want to be mono whites. So I mean, you're just
Probably don't want to be mono white, but if you are, because like
yep,
was like Derevi has the formula, just put it into play. Like that's
yep.
stupidly good.
It's
So just
bonkers.
having flash on your
Mm-hmm.
commander can be good, especially like say you have the white card in your hand that's free for your commander out, and you're holding up 3 mana. Well, I just play my commander first, and then it's free. Let's
Yeah,
protect the board.
I like how it like usually flicker stuff targets your own. Like this can hit anything of your opponents.
Yeah,
Say there's this stacks piece that's like hurting you really hard that you just want to get rid of at this moment. You attack with Philia, you get rid of, I don't know, a Dothy Voidwalker. Now you can start using your graveyard and going
yeah.
from there.
Or if they have like a what's like a what do you call it, Thalia or something. The guy flicker the
Mm-hmm.
Thalia out for a round.
Time to storm off. Yep. Yep. Seems really good.
It's cool artwork too.
Yep. So even if like you're being aggressive, saying like in 60s or I'm thinking cube right now, being aggressive, I just take out their only blocker almost
Right.
every single time I'm attacking with Philia.
Yeah, you can just take out their blocker.
Yep. No, you have a big 4/4. All right. It's exile to lend step. Now you only have a 1/1. Like I'm coming on through.
Yeah, it seems pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Next up, we got the White Orchid Phantom. So it's white white for a 2/2 Spirit Knight for flying in first strike. When White Orchid Phantom enters the battlefield, destroy up to one target non-basic land. Its controller may search the library for a basic land card and put it on the battlefield tapped and then shuffle.
Good callback. This
Yeah, it's like the
time,
Knight of the White Orchid,
yep.
except for
This time
instead
you
of
don't
getting
need.
you land, it blows up non-basics.
Yeah, yeah. But it's also up to. So I'm wondering if I have an indestructible like bridge, one of the artifact bridges. I target myself with it, and I just ramp for a basic land.
Well, yeah, you could always do that even if it wasn't up to.
Okay, yeah,
If
yeah.
you had an indestructible land.
So it would just be indestructible. Okay,
Yeah.
that's kind of sick. But it's also that removal for he played the guy's cradle.
It just says up to, so you don't have to blow up a non-basic land.
Okay, yeah,
So
perfect.
like
And
in
you
a
can
scenario
still
like you're
you
the only
still
one with
ramp.
non-basics and you don't want to blow them up, like you
Yep.
just play it
And you
as a
can
2 mana
still
2/2
ramp.
flying first strike.
Interesting. So this is just a strict upgrade
From
from
what?
the first Knight of White Orchid.
Well, no, because you don't get this. You don't get to ramp at all unless you blow something up. It's just you have the option to play it as a
Okay.
2 mana 2/2
Yeah.
flying first strike and not hit something.
Okay. Yep. I
Whereas
see
the
that.
other White Orchid was just like you get a planes if they have more
Mhm.
lands than you or whatever.
Yep.
So like they're both good.
So you
One
need
ramps you. This is going to ramp only whoever you blow up their thing. Well, it's
yeah
not going to ramp. It's going to replace.
replace
So like
unless
I mean,
you
it's
have the
good.
indestructible.
Yeah, but like it's going to be good in Commander because you could blow up their cradles and their
Yeah.
Cabal coffers and
Yep. Totally. They're problematic.
anything you would play. What is it? Field of Ruin or whatever the non-basic land blow up is. Ghost Quarter.
Ghost Quarter. I think Field of Ruin's one of them too. It's like a newer one.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Next, we'll move on to Wrath of the Skies. X white white for sorcery, where you get X energy. Then you may pay any amount of energy, destroy each artifact, creature, and enchantment with mana value less than or equal to the number of energy paid this way. That's a lot of permanence types that you can hit a lot of, and it's flexible. Like, you don't need to be the energy deck to do this.
No, but if you are, you could play it for 2.
2 mana, yeah, it would be nuts in the energy deck. But like, I'm just thinking, like, in CEDH or something, like, things cap out at like 3, maybe 4 for Italian, like 3 that Ristic study.
Yeah,
You pay
but I
this
mean,
for free.
even 3, it's like you're paying 5.
Yeah, you're paying 5, but you're hitting enchantments. You're hitting all their artifacts. You're hitting all their creatures.
Right, but I mean, for like 6, you could play Farewell.
6, you could pay farewell. Does hit all of them and exiles all of them. Okay, but this does scale. If you
I
only
think it's really good if you're an energy deck.
sure, yeah, of course,
Otherwise, I think it's a maybe. Like if all of your stuff is for like a high CMC cost, then it's pretty good because you can blow up all the lower stuff.
sure, yep.
But like if you're just using it as a board wipe, like there's better ones. But if you wanted to try and get one sided out of it, then yeah.
I think it's crazy that it hits artifacts and enchantments and creatures. Yeah, I guess there is farewell. Dang it, farewell! You're so good of a card.
There's Farewell. There's like a 5 or 6 mana one that blows up all non-land permanents too.
Yeah. Dang. Ban farewell. I'm still on that train.
It's not like good enough to be banned though. Like it costs
Yeah.
6.
Yeah, I just get salty.
Now we're on to blue here. We got Amphibian Downpour. It's 2 in a blue for Enchantment Aura with Flash, Storm, and Enchant Creature. And Enchanted Creature loses all abilities and is a blue frog with base power and toughness 1/1.
This is hilarious.
You turn all this stuff into 1/1
It's
frogs.
the storm. It rains amphibian downpour.
Rains frogs, yeah.
Now, is it good? I mean, you play like a rock or 2 and you hit 3 creatures, you like that's pretty good. You 3 for 1 card, kind of. They lose all their abilities, so that's good. They're 1/1s. What are they going to really do? So yeah, you kind of 3 for 1 on a card.
Yeah, it's also like they're probably going to at least play one thing before you
Mhm.
cast it. So
Oh,
most time you can hit two.
it's got flash. You don't need to do the work. Your opponents do the
That's what I'm
work.
saying. Like if they play a bunch of stuff, you just do this.
Dang, it's got flash.
Like worst case, they're going to attack you with something big, and you just make the one thing a 1/1. But
Yeah. At worst, that's
it's pretty
so good,
good.
actually. This seems actually really nuts because you can hold up your card draw spells too. On you're playing blue,
Right.
you're holding up instants. If they don't need anything to be amphibian downpoured, you
Yeah.
just play your card draw spell.
Mm-hmm. Or if for some reason someone just like plays a whole bunch of spells in a turn, you're like, well, I'm just
Yeah.
going to play it for value and
Yeah.
get a bunch of things to make them 1/1s.
All right. Your commander is a 1/1. Your commander is a 1/1, and
Yeah.
dang. I mean, I knew we were going to say all these cards are going to be great, but these cards are great. We'll move on to the Dreamtide Whale. 2 and a blue for a 7/5 whale. 3 mana, 7/5. It's got Vanishing 2. So this creature enters the battlefield, 2 time counters on it. Getting upkeep, remove 1 from it. And if the last is removed, sacrifice it. But whenever a player casts their second spell each turn, proliferate. Nuts.
This is stupid good too, because you're just going to double spell and keep it in play.
Yeah, so not even like keeping it in play. Yeah, you have a 7/5. That's hilarious for 3 mana. This is proliferate craziness. Right. Like you're doing other things like,
Right, but like at worst, you're going to proliferate itself and keep it in play.
Yeah,
Like
which is
3
great.
mana 7/5 seems insane.
Yeah, which is this is the floor.
And like the worst case is like nobody plays 2 spells and you get to swing once with the 7/5.
Yeah,
like
yeah. You usually got to keep this up, but like this is probably going to be proliferating off of your opponents pretty easily.
Yeah,
You're plus
also,
one.
if you're already in a proliferate deck, like
you're
this is going to get a bunch of counters.
Your planeswalkers are going to get a bunch of loyalty. This is ridiculous.
This thing is insane.
It's whenever a player, it's not just yourself.
Yeah, so if anyone double spells, it's going to be good in Commander because all your opponents are going to double spell, and then you're going to be like, oh,
well, 3 times more of the chance. But in 1v1's like a 7/5.
Yeah, like in limited, this is going to be nuts. Like, it's 3 mana 7/5. They're going to be like, crap, I don't have a removal spell.
Yeah. All right. I'm in love with it.
Dreamtide Whale. It's like a cloud, and then there's a whale underwater. It's so weird.
Dreams are weird, man.
Next up, we got Flare of Denial. It is 1 blue for an instant. You may sacrifice a non-token blue creature rather than pay the spell's mana cost for counter target spell.
More free counter spells.
I mean, there's already a few out there. I do actually kind of like this, though, because at worst it's just a cancel.
I mean,
it's free.
I think it's almost better than Force of Negation in Commander. Because Commander, you already have a blue creature. It's your commander.
Yeah, versus having to pay 5 on your next upkeep.
Mm-hmm. Or
yeah, I'd probably play this over Force of Negation, yeah.
Force of Negation's the pitch spell can only hit non-creature spells.
No, I'd play that over this.
Yeah?
I'm thinking of the Pact. I would play this over the Pact.
Negation. I don't know. Force of Negation does exile, which is pretty crazy, but this hits any spell. Any spell, not non-creature spell.
It's true. But you do have to have something in play.
Yeah, which is your commander, though. All you need is your commander.
Yeah, but what if you don't have your commander? You need to counter something.
Then you pay 3 mana.
What if you don't have 3 mana? What if it's turn 1, turn 0?
Force of Negation, you need another blue spell to pitch.
in your hand, which you're going to have on turn 0. That's why I think Force of Negation and Force of Will are better.
Yeah, but that's hmm.
But I definitely put this probably third. Like this is probably I'd put this over the Pact. I mean, you're going to run all 3 if you're playing Mono Blue. So
Yeah. I mean, heck, why'd they have to do another free counter spell? You're
plus you
jamming
have the one that's with your commander. Like you're going to play that too.
you're already packing all of them. This is just going to be another one to fuel even more.
Mm-hmm.
Not good, Wizards. Try something else than counter spell. Why couldn't this be like non-creature too, or like I don't know?
What if it was just do that bounce?
And bounce the spell?
Bounce anything, a permanent or a spell.
Okay.
That would be better, right? Like that'd be different than just counter,
But hitting stuff would be pretty good. I don't know. It's more interesting than counter spell, I'd say. I'd say they're getting lazy with this. They're like, oh, it's a cycle. Oh, it's blue. Let's put counter spell.
yeah.
I don't know. It's going to be
So
good.
I think how many times in a blue deck that I have non-token blue creatures, and it's not a lot if I'm playing mono blue.
Right. But you're
like especially like because I used to play like Talrand, and it's like, well, all my creatures are gonna be tokens then. Like
yeah, right.
So
It's got to be your commander. But you have your commander. Outside of commander, like in lazy, this is going to be horrible. You're going to play Force of Will. You're going to play Force of Negation. You're not going to have those blue creatures. But in commander, you have that commander, which is the option. You already have Fierce Guardianship. Fierce Guardianship is going to be way better than this.
Right, that's what I'm saying. I think this is like 4th in commander.
Right.
Because I would play Fierce Guardianship. I'd play Force of Will, Force of Negation.
Okay.
But I would play it over Pact.
Yeah. I agree with that.
So it's like in the top 5 counter spells, probably. In most people's books, I think.
Yeah. All right, we'll move on to the Harbinger of the Seas. 1 blue for 2/2 Merfolk Wizard. Non-basic lands are islands.
This is a blue Blood Moon.
The blue Blood Moon.
Or the blue Magus of the Moon.
Yep. But it turns them into islands instead of mountains, so this could be good for you. I mean, I don't play Modern that much, but people are saying Merfolk are going to come back. They mostly have Island Walk, Lord of the Atlantis. I've seen that card.
Yeah, it's good with like Merfolks with the Island Walk.
But even like, I want to storm off with like High Tide. Now all of my non-basic lands are islands.
Yep, makes High Tide better.
Interesting. I don't know. I kind of like it. Just for like that reason, I can play it in Commander. If I'm playing like some sort of storm where it hits all my opponents, they're going to be like,
I mean, if I'm playing Mono Blue, I'm jamming this in every Commander deck because it's just going to hose my opponents that are playing more than one color.
Yeah. I could see that. I play Mega's Moon.
If I'm not playing Mono Blue, I probably wouldn't play this in my Commander deck unless I don't run a ton of non-basics.
Right.
Or I want them to be blue. Like, don't care if they're blue.
You played a lot of rocks too, so it doesn't matter too much, but it does. It gets those Gaia's Kratos, which is crazy.
Mm-hmm. I mean, because I don't play Blood Moon or Magus the Moon in my decks unless I'm playing Mono Red. So
yeah,
it's probably the same with this. This will be a pretty good sideboard card. It'll probably be main decked in Merfolks.
Mm-hmm.
In both Modern and Legacy.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of chatter about Modern Merfolk, so we'll see how well of a player that will be. Seems strong though.
Probably in the Vintage Cube for a little bit.
I see that. Yeah,
just to try it out.
Don't
know how long it'll stay, but it'll probably be one of the ones they try.
Yeah, I don't know. It probably won't even be that strong. You got a lot of basics in Cube.
But they did have Blood Moon and the Magus Moon in there for a while, so that's why I figured they'll add this to try it. But we'll see.
Sure. Yeah.
I think it shuts off the land-based decks.
Yeah.
Like the The 2020 thing.
Field of the Dead.
Yeah. Well, Field of the Dead and the Dark Depths.
Dark Depths, yeah. That's what you're saying. I thought you were mentioning the year. It's like, what Magic card came out in 2020?
No. I think
Yeah,
that was a
the
2020.
2020 Flying Indestructible.
Yeah.
I get you now.
Next up, we got Shadow of the Second Sun. 4 blue for Enchantment Aura. Enchant player. At the beginning of Enchanted player's post-combat main phase, there's an additional beginning phase after this phase, which is untap, upkeep, draw.
You get an extra upkeep. Even if you play this on your first main phase, then you go to combat, then you get this triggers. And you get another untap, upkeep, draw step.
Mm-hmm.
You basically get Vigilance, get an extra card draw at the bare minimum.
Yeah, I'm just trying. What is that? What does that Sphinx cost?
Yeah, that's like 8 mana.
Is it 8 or is it? I thought it
Sphinx
was
is like the
6.
second sun or whatever.
Yeah, I thought that was only 6, but maybe it's 8. So the Sphinx would be better than this, I think. But
it's 8 mana.
okay.
Um,
Well, then this is better if you want that extra beginning phase. You can also target people other than yourself, but I don't know why you'd do that.
I don't know why you would do that.
Unless, I guess, if you're playing Chandra or something, where at the beginning of your upkeep, they take a damage.
Something like that.
Just make them
That'd be
take
very
one.
niche. But I don't see this in constructed. This is like
it's a
card.
commander. You care about upkeep
So
triggers.
you're jamming the Sphinx. You're jamming this. You're jamming every Paradox Haze.
You're probably playing the new Obeka or the old one.
Yep. Yeah, probably the card you don't want to open up. That's the mythic you're trying.
It's the mythic you're probably like, I don't really want to open them except like commander.
Yeah. You could probably pick this up for like under $1 if you want to play it in commander. So we found the mythic we don't want to open. There's got to be one.
Mm-hmm.
Right, next, we'll move on to the Strix Serenade. 1 mana instant. Counter target artifact, creature, or planeswalker spell. Its controller creates a 2/2 blue bird creature token with flying.
What is Swan Song counter?
Swan Song instant sorcery. Enchantment.
So it's the other 3.
It's the other 3.
Yes, this is good.
It's going to be
good. So this is going to be good.
It's going to be good. Swan Song is really good.
I mean, the fact that it can hit creatures for 1 mana is going to be good.
Yes.
So
I would still probably argue Swan Song is better. I think you would care more about instant sorceries or enchantments.
Yeah, only because those are usually their combo pieces.
Yeah.
I mean, but this could stop Crater Hoof where Swan Song can't.
Yeah. Yep. Can't stop Natural Order to Crater Hoof.
No, you can't stop that.
There's been
it's still good enough to play, though.
Yeah.
Like in Commander, you're going to probably play it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, more counter spells.
I don't know how good it's going to be in Constructed, but...
Yeah, it would be a
sideboard. Birds is like... What,
it's horrible.
I mean, it's good against Eldrazi, probably, but other than that...
I don't know. It could be a good sideboard card in 60s. But Commander, yeah, it's probably going to be up there with Swan Song. I would argue Swan Song's better, though.
Yeah, probably. Next up, we got Tameo, the Inquisitive Student, is 1 blue for a 0/3 legendary creature, Moonfolk Wizard with flying. Whenever it attacks, investigate. Whenever you draw your 3rd card in a turn, exile it, then return to the battlefield transformed as Tameo, the Seasoned Scholar, which comes with 2 loyalty, legendary planeswalker Tameo. +2 until your next turn. Whenever a creature attacks you or a planeswalker you control, gets -1/-0 until end of turn. -3, return target instant sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand. If it's green, add a mana of any color. -7, draw cards equal to half the number of cards in your deck, rounded up. You get an emblem with you have no maximum hand size. So I feel like this is going to be good in a deck where you already draw a bunch of cards, which blue's pretty good at.
Yeah.
Because you just have to have drawn 3 cards to flip it.
Yeah, which is basically draw 2 cards. You draw 1 card at the beginning
Right.
of your
Like you
turn.
don't have to ever do the first part. Like the clues, sack the clues to draw if you don't want.
Mm-hmm. I mean, even I love how she's a flying 0/3. Like you're going to be getting to investigate a bunch of times if you don't even trigger that off for 1 mana. Create,
Yeah, I mean, people aren't going to block a 0/3. Like,
and it's flying. It's flying. Like, of course, it's
right.
going to attack.
But like, if I swing with a 0/3 into you and you have like a 1/1, you're probably not going to bother blocking it.
Yeah,
Because what if I have a trick?
sure. Yeah, that's funny. I would
I mean,
still
maybe
block.
you would. I guess it depends on the player.
Yeah. Oh, you got to block those. You got to block those people.
Just attack for 0.
Yeah. But you make an artifact every single turn. That's pretty
Yeah,
nuts.
it's good for Urza.
Good for Urza. They killed it in the flavor of all of these planeswalker flipping. Like she just all the knowledge comes to her from reading the books and she planeswalks. Like that's so
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, this one, I feel like you're going to want to protect it for a few rounds because if you can get that -7, you're just going to win the game.
Yeah. They're +2. Usually remember Jace is like target creature gets -2 attack. That's just one. This is like when
Yeah,
every
I
creature,
think the last one did that too. Or at least one of them did that.
okay, yeah.
Did like
Oh,
all their creatures get -1, -0. But it was only +1, I think. I don't think it was +2.
yeah. This also attacks when it attacks you or a planeswalker. That's sick as
Yeah,
well.
so it doesn't work. Because like the other one I think was just blanket. An
Mhm,
opponent's creatures all get -1, -0. Whereas this is like, if you're playing commander, you plus this. If any of your opponents attack you, they're getting
mhm.
-1, -0.
I think it does hurt that it's -3 to activate that instant or sorcery card to do it where
Yeah, like you're just gonna. I think you're gonna +2, +2, try and plus it up to 8, and then just alt.
try to alt right away.
That would
Interesting.
be my goal with it.
I have a feeling this will be in Vintage Cube, and I'm going to try to get like a time walk back. So I'm going to be trying to -3 like as much as I can. But
Yeah, it's you'd -3 if you have something super good, but
because if you extra turns, it's not like a Snapcaster Mage. It's not going to get exiled.
right,
It goes back.
it goes
I'm
back to
going
your
to take that
hand.
extra turn again.
What
Do
green cards would be good to get free mana?
Can't think of it on top of my head, but I'm sure there is.
I think this is going to be a decent one if you have a proliferate deck too, because you could
Mm-hmm.
just keep minusing 3 then.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I think my normal strategy would be like I play this, I try and like divination the same turn,
Mm-hmm.
flip it, and then just keep +2 right away.
Yeah. Yeah. Because that's a lot of cards for that ultimate.
Yeah,
That's basically you should win the game from
as I
there.
said, it's basically you win the game.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, I have a feeling this is going to be a strong one. All right, next we'll move on to the Volatile Storm Drake. 1 and a blue for a 3/2 Drake. It's got flying and hexproof from activated and triggered abilities. Love that. That's a fun line to say. When he enters the battlefield, exchange control of this and target creature and opponent controls. If you do, you get 4 energy. Then sacrifice that creature unless you pay an amount of energy equal to its mana value. So this is trying to be like Gilded Drake. And you can get 4 mana stuff, but if you try to go higher, you need that more energy. But now that I reread this out loud, you still exchange control. So you give your opponent that 3/2. If it's like a 6-drop, I take someone's Omnath or something. That's the 6 mana Omnath I'm thinking of or something. They get sacrificed. So it's still like a kill spell,
Yeah, but they have a 3/2 flyer that remains.
but they get a 3/2 flyer. Okay, yeah. So that's interesting that it's actually a kill spell, but mostly you want to be playing this to grab your opponent's commanders in commander games because that's one way of getting it around back to the command zone.
Right.
You gain control of it, and they need to deal with that before.
It's also weird
anything.
that it's hexproof from activated and triggered
Yeah, I
abilities.
love that
It's
line.
like,
I
what?
think they should explore like that more. Blank hexproof is pretty strong, but this way it's just activated
So,
and
like, if someone else has this out, you can't target it with this.
true. Yep. Can't be exchanging back and forth. Can't be like Orcish Bowmastered off or something like that.
Hmm.
But normal murder cast down will get this.
Yeah.
That's interesting that it actually like kills it though. Like I can target your Dragon
Yeah,
and
it just
you get a
sacks it.
3/2, but I thought you could only target like what you had energy for, but no.
No, you could target anything, and then it just gets
Mhm.
rid of it.
How often are you running Gilded Drake though? I've been starting to cut it from my commander decks
What
personally.
does Gilded Drake cost? Like 5?
It's a 2 mana.
It's only 2
2 mana, exchange control, you get a 3/3 flying.
of anything.
Of anything, dude, it's busted.
I thought that was the morph one.
No, Gilded Drake is the reserve list card.
Okay, then I would just rather play Gilded Drake.
Yeah, exactly. But are you going to be playing both?
Not unless I really want that effect.
I mean, it's great. It's hitting your opponent's
I
commanders.
honestly probably wouldn't play either, but because I don't
Yeah,
play a lot of blue, and if I do, I don't play the exchange control stuff very often.
yeah.
Like I'd rather just bounce their thing, so I would just play a bounce spell or something. But
Yeah.
that's me personally.
Yeah, commander, you want to take care of that commander. So we're running Gildrake over this, and I've been cutting Gildrake, so we probably don't run in commander as often. Is this good in like cube in 60s? Not could be okay in cube, but
Could
I
be
don't,
okay in 60s, but
I don't know. Even if you're playing that energy deck, like I don't see it being that good.
no. I mean, unless you steal like a Blight Steal and you have 11 energy, it's not going to be
Right,
good. And that's
right.
like dream scenario.
And you could have like just did a control magic, like
Yeah,
play that spell instead. Instead
right.
of giving them a 3/2. I don't know. It's a weird one. All
It's
right.
weird that you have to exchange control. It'd be better, I think, if it was you take control of their creature, sack it, unless you pay the thing, and then if you don't pay the thing, you get your Drake back. But
Mm-hmm.
so it would just be like a kill spell.
Yeah, but
This is
the
like a
blue
kill
kill
spell
spell
that
you
gives them
can't
a
do
3
that.
2. It's
If
kind
you're
of garbage.
sacking though, you could on this ETB of him sack the Drake and then still get the creature.
That's true. You could do that.
Is sacrificing itself? No, that's not hexproof from activated or triggered abilities. Sacrificing itself is not. That's activating a different ability. That's the fodder to.
It's not targeting you. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. If you got sack outlets, could
It's
be interesting.
medium, I think. Next up on the black here, we got Chthonian Nightmare. It's 1 in a black for an enchantment. When it enters the battlefield, you get 3 energy counters. You can pay X in an energy, sacrifice a creature, return this to its owner's hand, return to a creature card with mana value X from your graveyard to the battlefield, activate as a sorcery. So, what is this supposed to be? Reoccurring Nightmare, but
Return
it's
Nightmare.
you got to pay mana and energy.
Dumb. It's broken already. So they're trying to limit recurring nightmares so you don't get something big, right? But
Mm-hmm.
I'm imagining CEDH. You don't really have like those things. What you can do with this card, Dockside Extortionist. That's a 2 mana card. Dockside Extortionist will pay for Chthonian Nightmare and more. You just combo this off as long as they have 3 or more treasure. Because it sacrifices
Yeah,
your Dockside.
infinite mana. Yeah,
You get infinite mana. Ah, what you do, Wizards? What you do?
They tried to make a fixed recurring nightmare, but that card
it's
effect is just powerful either way.
it's just powerful. EDH, you already have stuff that's under 3. Yeah, you're not going to get anything. Your Arcana Cruelties
But
or something.
if you're not looping that,
Sure.
how
Yeah.
good is it?
How good is it? And I'm talking CEDH again. Getting your Orcish Bowmaster back. If you packing both of them, if you're packing something like that, you could probably be pretty good. I don't know, your Laboratory Maniac, your Thoracle that didn't go off.
Yeah,
Normal
it
Commander.
does suck that it's sorcery speed, but
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I don't think this has a home in your casual commander games, your normal commanders, because that's pretty low. But if you know how to break it with like Dockside or get your
yeah.
Thoracle back out,
Because I'm like, if I put this in Carador, I still have to pay the mana, so I don't want to do that. I'd rather just play Reanimate or Animate Dead or something.
right? Yes, 100%. If you're getting something big, that's not that. This is going to slip into those crazy nuts CEH players' hands. I don't see this anywhere else. But it's going to be stupid in those decks, I feel.
Yep.
All right, we'll move on to the Crabomination. 4 black for a 5/5 Crab Demon. It's got a merge from artifact for 5 black, which means you can cast this spell by sacrificing an artifact and paying the merge cost reduced by the artifact's mana value. When Crabomination enters the battlefield, target opponent exiles the top card of their library, a card at random from their graveyard, a card at random from their hand. You may cast a spell from among those cards this way without paying its mana cost. That's a crazy ETB. So yeah, it's kind of a lot to get out, but I'm thinking flickering.
Well, I mean, you play what's the demon,
Rakdos, new one?
the one that makes them sack a bunch of stuff. And you draw a card, and they lose 3 life.
Lose 3 life. I'm thinking of Obnixilis when you search
No,
library.
it triggers an attack in ETB. It's in It's in Legacy Reanimator. Arcana Cruelty.
Oh yeah. Yep.
So you already play that type of thing. Is this good enough to take its spot? Not really.
No, not
But
to take
it's
its spot. No.
pretty good.
Yeah, this is not going to be like the top end crazy nuts, but this is going to be fun commander type thing. I'm feeling.
I think I'm going to put this in my.
Carador?
I probably put it in there, but I also put it in the new one I just built, the Rakdos guy from Jasper.
Oh, sure, because you're casting stuff from your opponents.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you built the Outlaws deck.
Well, I built just the cast the opponent's stuff deck.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's more fun than actually good. Yeah, Archon is just going to dominate this over.
I mean, if you have a 5-cost artifact, you just pay 2.
Yeah. I'm wondering, I mean, there's colored artifacts now. What if you had a black artifact?
Yeah, if you had like Bola Citadel acted to it.
It's way free. But I don't know if you would sacrifice Bolas' Citadel or Crab Abomination. That seems like a loss to me. It seems fun. I'll just give it that.
Next up, we got the Emperor of Bones. It better be good. All right, it's 1 and a black for a 2/2 Skeleton Noble. At the beginning of combat on your turn, exile up to 1 target card from a graveyard. Okay. 1 and a black, you can adapt to. Okay. Whenever 1 or more +1/+1 counters are put on Emperor of Bones, put a creature card exiled with it onto the battlefield of your control with a finality counter on it. It gains haste and sacrifice at the beginning of the next end step. It's a pretty good skeleton.
Yeah, when are you building that deck?
I know, I still got to put it together. I have a list.
I like it's a bear at the bare minimum. It can adapt too, so become a 4/4 for 4 mana. But I my main thing I like about it is that it doesn't need to attack to start exiling anything from graveyards. It's just at the beginning of your combat, get something.
Right. Yeah, and you can put the biggest thing into play.
Hmm.
So
You get a target as well. I'm thinking of like Relic of Progenitus. I love that card, but it's like your opponent gets to pick, so you slowly whittle them down. But hitting them once per turn, every single turn, will whittle them down.
right, and if you
This
hit
is what
anything
it
big,
does.
you could just swing at them for free with it,
Yeah.
or for 2 mana. So adapt to, and then after that, you have to have a different way to put counters on it. But
Yeah. Which I play Gave Guru Spores, but yeah, I think that's a
yeah.
little too slow for Gave. Um, I don't know. It's kind of weird in that I'll be wanting to combo off,
I'm trying
but
to think if this is good. If just the hosing and a graveyard thing makes it good
yeah,
enough to play in like a competitive deck.
I'm
Because I
not.
know, like what is it? Deathrite Shaman was insane.
Yeah, insane, insane.
The issue is this: you can only do it on your turns. You can't instant
Yeah,
speed it.
Deathright pinpointing at the exact moment is what makes it pretty nuts. So like it counter spells reanimate in a way.
Right.
Um, I don't think. I mean, you have to be doing the +1/+1 counters if you're playing this in Commander. You got to be like getting something a little extra, little oomph. But I'm imagining in 60s, this is a 2/2 for 2, turns into a 4/4 that can hose a graveyard. Seems decent.
It's probably gonna be decent in cube too,
Yeah. Yeah. I can see it really shining there. Just
especially if
normal.
you're like a black aggro deck, like with all the
Hmm.
cheap creatures now.
Hmm. Yeah. You get a 2/2 on 2 and then turn it into a 4/4 swing on turn 3 with a
Hmm.
4/4 that has incidental graveyard hit. Like, and if you
Well, when you turn into a 4/4, if they had anything in their graveyard, you get
they
a
had, yeah,
swing on
sure.
turn 3 with this as a
Yeah.
4/4 and something else.
Yeah. It would be hilarious if someone like you go first, you just play swamp. They play a mountain, play faithless looting, sets up like their graveyard, ends an arcana cruelty. Turn 2, you play this, exile it. That'd be so good.
That would be insane. It's any graveyard too, so you could do that to yourself.
Ooh, that's actually a good thought. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Actually, this is a reanimation.
animation spell.
Dude,
It's
what
like
the heck?
a one time use sneak
What
attack.
the heck? Yeah, it's
For two
shallow
mana.
grave.
Yeah, it's like a shallow
Holy
grave on a
crap.
creature.
What? I've been my own Atraxa.
Yeah.
Check this out. Draw a bunch of cards. Dude, oh my goodness. Is this a trigger? Hold up.
Yeah, it's whenever one or more. So if you have other ways to
Oh, it's the beginning of combat. I need to exile up target creature. I'm trying to put an Eldrazi in there, but that it doesn't work with Eldrazi.
no, but the bottom part's a trigger.
Yes. Yep. Yep. All right. This is probably pretty good.
Yeah,
You got to be playing Reanimator yourself, I think.
it seems pretty good if you're a reanimator. Yeah, if you
Yeah.
just, especially if you have stuff you just want one swing with, like
Hmm.
just even just like an Archon of Cruelty, like
Yeah.
it's
That would
gonna be
be
like, oh, boom, swing, boom. Like that's what you shallow grave anyway. So
yeah. All right. Moving on to the Flare of Malice, the Black Flare. 2 black black for an instant. Sacrifice a non-token black creature rather than pay the spell's cost. Each opponent sacrifices a creature or planeswalker with the greatest mana value among creatures and planeswalkers they control. Free edict, free in quotation.
yeah, you know what I wish it said?
Hmm.
I just wish it said exile target creature.
Yeah.
I think that would be better than like yeah, if you're playing commander, you can 3 for 1, but
Yeah. That's all I'm worried about here. Edicts are far and few from what I've seen in 60s.
yeah, you play them in commander occasionally. This can get around like hexproof indestructible things. That's the
Indestructible.
upside,
Yep. Yep. Yep.
but that's why I just wish it just said exile target creature and you could just pick. But
Yeah.
Because what if the thing you want to get rid of is not their biggest thing? But
Yeah. That's usually how edicts are, though. It's like you got to whittle away.
it is nice that it is the biggest thing because, like, usually when you edict, that's like if he doesn't
That's
say that, then they're getting rid of their weakest thing. Right?
yeah. Yeah. That's
So
mainly what you want to kill off, usually. It hits planeswalkers if they don't
I'll probably play it in my black decks just because a free 3-for-1 basically. It's not
the
bad.
commander, yeah. This
And
seems
commander.
each opponent's pretty crazy. I mean, that's kind of all Fleshbake Marauder does that, but that's only creatures. Instant speed though is kind of tricky too. I mean, good for the player casting it for you, where they can like just play their commander for that turn. You're like, oh,
Hmm.
let's fire this off. Seems okay. Say that, I guess.
Next up, we got Necro Dominance. Black, black, black. 3 blacks for legendary enchantment. Skip your draw step. At the end of your end step, you may pay any amount of life. If you do, draw that many cards. Your maximum hand size is 5. If a card or token be put into your graveyard from anywhere, exile it instead.
More necropotence.
I think Necropotence is just better, though.
Objection. No. Cisse Weatherlight Captain. You ever read that commander? 2 and a white or legendary. It's a 2/2. You get +1/+1 for each color among other legendary permanents you
Yeah.
control. You can pay 5. Search your library for a legendary card equal to her power or less.
Hmm.
Now you can one card, your commander, pay 5, get Necro Dominance now. Instant speed, draw a bunch, whatever you need. Play
Well,
out
isn't it
your.
a 2-2?
It's a 2/2, so yes, you need another legendary out there with a different color, which
Hmm.
is pretty easy to do in that deck. You kind of plan around that.
Oh,
But
Necropotence is not legendary, is it?
Necropotence is not. This is the first time it can come out instant speed from Cisse. Thinking CEDH again. I'm sorry, I play a lot of it.
Yeah, it's good in that deck.
Yeah, that deck specifically, I think it's going to be pretty nuts. Then you just win off of your Thoracle from there on. If you're already playing Necropotence, though, naturally in any deck, would you also run this? I think so.
Probably. It's just another way to do it.
It's just another one.
Although you can do Necropotence at instant speed, can't you?
Yes.
This you can only trigger on your end step.
Yeah.
And the
But you're only
downside of everything being exiled kind of sucks. Like if you do draw
that's
over
still
5.
Necropotence. Necropotence does that as well.
Oh, it does?
And you only get your cards from Necropotence at your end step, so it doesn't really
Oh,
matter
okay.
what
So it's
that
basically similar.
instant speed. Yeah. But from
Interesting.
there, you also have to have your cleanup phase, so you got to discard down. But what people have been running is this card called Born from the Wind, where it gives all your spells flash. So you have an extra 2 mana, you give your spells flash, you draw like your whole deck, basically however much life you have in CEDH, and then try to win off of like Lotus Petal or all of
Hmm.
your fast mana rocks, and then combo off with Thoracle, hopefully from there.
Interesting.
On that instant speed, on your end step, on your cleanup step, which is powerful. So this is probably going to do some moves. I'd see it. If you like Necropotence, you're probably going to like this card.
Yep.
All right, we'll move on to the Nether Goyf, a 1 mana star 1+ star. So it's a Lure Goyf. But Nether Goyf's power is equal to the number of card types among cards in your graveyard, and its toughness is equal to that number +1. But it has escape for 2 and a black. Exile any number of other cards from your graveyard with 4 or more card types among them.
So it's like a 1 mana Tarmogoyf, but it only counts in your graveyard.
Your graveyard, which is pretty bad, right?
I don't know. A lot of times, 3 or 4 of them is usually yours. You fetch, get one. You play a
Yep.
ponder or something. That's 2.
Mm-hmm. Is that I know Tormagoyf has been power creeped out. That's 2 mana. It's really 1 mana that
Yeah,
much.
Tarmogoyf is usually 2 mana, like 3/4. So this is probably the 1 mana, like 2/3 most of the time.
Yeah. I don't see that
I don't
being.
see you escaping it very often because, like, what are the odds you have 4 types and then you have more stuff to play it again? Like for it
Yeah.
to just die. I guess it could be a 0/1, but
I don't know. I think we are also not super 60 card player decks, so I'm not sure how to evaluate too much, but it just doesn't seem good.
trying to think in, let's see, if I was playing this in like my reanimator deck, I would have, it could maybe have 3 pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Be 1 mana 3/4. It's not bad. But it's like, why would it, like, I wouldn't want to reanimate that though. So
No. The escape is like cool, yeah, but that's like right at the end of the game. You're going to do this once out of your like 4 copies.
yeah,
You
I think it'd
want
be better if it escaped and you got 4/1 counters as well. Like,
something crazy, yeah. You got to exile 4 cards.
yeah, it's got to. They all got to be different types too.
Yeah. I mean, you can have the artifact creature, sure,
Right.
something fancy, but that's a lot of cards to exile.
I think it's like okay. It's not that good. The more I think
Yeah.
about it, the worse this gets. So
Yeah.
looks cool. It's gonna be okay. Like it's probably gonna be a 1 mana 2/3 most of the time. Like it's not that hard to make it a 2/3.
Another mythic I don't want to open up.
I mean, somebody's gonna play the deck with another Glyph and Tarmogoyfs, right? And
Yeah,
then this will
they're going
just
to try this out.
this will just
But
spike, and then maybe it'll be like $10, and
if it's a good deck,
yeah,
I don't know if it's going to
like
be
this will maybe be a $5 mythic if that's a good deck. If it's
if it's
not, then this is just gonna
this,
be like the shit mythic you don't want.
this is not what you want to open up.
All right, next up we got Ripples of Undeath. It is 1 and a black for an enchantment. At the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, mill 3 cards. Then you may pay 1 and 3 life. If you do, put a card from among those cards into your hand.
Dang.
How good
This is
is a
like
mana and 3 life to draw a card?
but you're milling. I'm imagining like Sylvan Library. This is kind of like that.
Yeah, Sylvan Library is better, but right? Yeah, because you don't
Yeah,
have to pay any mana.
but if you're playing like a graveyard deck, you're just going
Yeah,
to
I'd probably put this in Carador just because it helps fill my graveyard.
yeah, yeah. Sometimes in Sylvan Library, you're like, oh crap, I'm stuck here. I can't pay like 8 life to really like dig
Right.
through all of this. This just mills it. If you want, you can pay one mana. That's pretty low cost to get one of those cards.
3 life sucks, but
3 life sucks, but Sylvan Library's worse. It's 4.
it's 4, yeah.
I don't know. This seems really strong to me.
I mean, I'm gonna try it out for sure.
You're like,
Like I'm
oh
gonna
crap.
stick it in my Reanimator deck and see what happens when I Carador.
Yeah, like you're playing Reanimator, like you're just milling, try to fill it out, but
I
you're
mean,
like,
I guess it's pretty good in Sidisi too, right? Does it trigger whatever you
yeah,
will? Yeah.
yeah. But Sidisi triggers off of creatures, so it's hard for me to run non-creature stuff, but I still think I'm going to run this.
One of the few.
Yeah, one of the few, very few. I think 50% of my deck is creatures in that deck. So, but this is like in like your Carador deck or something Reanimator. Like
Mhm.
you're milling, you want to fill it, but that one moment you're like, oh crap, there goes Animate Dead. Wait,
Right.
I can just pay 1 and 3 life. I get that into my hand.
Yeah, that is good because a lot of times with them, where you're just using it for the mill effect, you're like, shit, it milled something I wanted. Whereas here, you
Yeah.
can get that card.
There you're like, oh, easy fix here.
Yeah.
And I guess if you want it to be card draw, 1 and 3 life isn't too bad.
No, but I'll add it to my deck, and then I'll have my Sylvan Library, my Arena, my
Mm-hmm. Yep.
The other
Yep.
one and this.
That's a lot of cards. Lot of cards. All right, we'll move on to Shilling Shilgengar. Gengar? Shilgengar. Sire of Famine. 3 black black for 6/6 legendary Elder Demon. Ooh, Elder Demon. Flying. Sacrifice another creature. Create a blood token. If you sacrifice an angel this way, create a number of blood tokens equal to its toughness instead. You could play pay Orzhov mana, Orzhov mana, Orzhov mana. Sacrifice 6 blood tokens. Return each creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield with a finality counter on it. Those creatures are vampires in addition to its other types. Okay, this is going in an angel deck, but is there any other deck that makes a lot of blood tokens?
I mean, there's the Vampire Commander that, from the blood set, there's the one that's the Vampire Commander that makes a bunch of bloods but doesn't have a ton of blood to support. So this at least is another card for that.
I guess just an aristocrats, a free sack outlet's a free sack outlet. Let's just get that. But if you have like you're doing, you just need to sack 6 little tokens.
I mean, you could run this as your commander too and have a black-white aristocrat deck with some angels in it.
Return each creature card. That's a lot. That's pretty powerful. It's pretty potent.
And you can just keep doing that.
Yeah, true.
Like you could just have 6 1/1s and just sack 6 1/1s to make 6 blood tokens.
It's pretty potent.
So you don't have to sack angels unless you want
Yeah,
to.
it's not that hard of a hoop to jump. But
I think it's pretty good.
5 mana, 6/6 flyers, good.
It's good with that other card. The last card
Yeah.
we talked about, just like fill my graveyard with creatures, sack
Yeah.
6 blood tokens.
Yep. I'm trying to imagine him in a 99. Him as a commander, I can imagine. Like, yeah, that's going to be.
I mean,
cool.
I could think about putting it in Carador just for another sack outlet.
Sack outlets are important.
Like,
Very
I
important.
don't know if I'd ever use the bottom mode, but it would be just another sack outlet.
There's better.
And you could filter off the land you draw then with the bloods.
Yeah, but you could just play Viscera here. You could just play
Yeah, that's true.
any altar. I don't know.
Well, I run both altars. It's just nice sometimes to have a sack outlet on a creature, especially in a reanimator deck.
Yeah.
But
I would still run Carry On Feeder. 5 mana is a lot for that. I don't know. He seems fun. He seems interesting.
I think he's better as a commander, though.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're going to play him outside of that, really.
Yeah. Definitely fun, interesting.
I mean, I guess you could do like the Maxwood Nexus thing and just stick him in the deck.
They're all angels. Yes. Corey, you're getting it. You're on board. You're finally here.
I still have never played that card in the deck, though.
But there's combos. Heck yeah. You got Baby Soren.
All right, we got another Soren here. Soren of House Markov. 1 and a black for a 1/4 legendary creature, human noble with lifelink and extort. At the beginning of your post-combat main phase, if you gain 3 or more life this turn, exile it and return it to the battlefield transformed.
Gets enough blood.
Oops. I did not grab the backside of this, so can you read the backside?
Okay. Soren, Ravenous Neonate. He's a 3 loyalty, has extort just as a baseline thing. Then you can +2 to activate, create a food token. You can -1. He deals damage equal to the amount of life you've gained this turn to any target. And his ultimate -6. Gain control of target creature. It becomes a vampire in addition to its other types. Put a lifelink counter on it if you control a white permanent other than that creature or Soren.
It's pretty good. I mean, this is busted in the Edgar Markov deck, right? Because
It's a
your markup
human
deck
noble.
already has vampires that gain you a bunch of life. So
Yeah, but this is a human noble to start off. This is baby Soren. Talk about not vampire Soren.
I mean, I guess it's still good though, just having extort.
It's good to have an extort.
And you play most of the Soren planeswalkers in that deck.
Sure.
I don't know. I guess it's good. It's good in just a gain life deck.
Yes, that's where this is going to be more potent. Definitely, because of the extort, you want to gain the 3
Well,
life.
it's any target, right?
Yes, that -1.
So you could be playing like a Loro, where you just gain like a bunch of life every turn and
Just
like
ping somebody
ping
hard.
somebody hard.
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah. What if you had like Aether Flux or some sort of life gain deck? You're
Yeah,
life
either
gain
Flux Reservoir or something.
food deck in a way. It's interesting. I wouldn't play it like vampire or something. This is the life gain. You're trying to extort. You're playing veto. You're playing those enchantments that like whenever you gain life, you deal something.
Yeah.
Definitely interesting. He's a mythic. Hmm.
I mean,
Don't
just
know.
having extort is really good, especially in like a
Yeah.
limited format.
Yeah. At the start too, 2 mana is pretty low for an extort, I believe.
Yeah. I think there's like one card with extort that costs one,
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
but it's like a common. It's probably like a 1/1 with extort.
Yeah. That's all it does.
Yeah.
All right. Interesting. We'll move on to the Warren Soul Trader. 2 in black for a 3/3 zombie goblin wizard. Then it's got pay 1 life, sacrifice another creature, create a treasure token. Phyrexian Arena or Phyrexian Altar.
What was Treasure Dredger in this last set? Wasn't it just tap a mana to do a treasure? Is it
Treasure what?
common? Treasure Dredger in the OTJ?
I don't know.
I think that was just pay a mana, tap it. I guess this you don't have to tap, so you can keep doing it. That's why it's a rare,
Yeah.
because you can just keep looping it, I guess.
Yeah.
Seems good in Corvold.
I mean, it's anywhere that Phyrexian Altar is good is going to be nuts.
Yeah.
The pay 1 life is negligible because you just have Blood Artist.
Yeah,
right?
true.
Blood Artist just heals you that back. It's also Phyrexian Altar. It's another version of it.
Yeah, that's true.
You're playing Aristocrats because you're playing the Phyrexian Altar, because they're playing this. You're going to be playing Blood Artist, or you're going to be playing the Zulaport Cutthroat. No, that doesn't heal you. I don't think.
It might.
You gain, you gain a life. You're playing your Zulaport Cutthroats. You're playing any of those. They're going to instantly gain you that life. So yes, you can't do like fancy stuff, but you can't. You can't go infinite without it. But when you're going infinite, you usually have those. But you can just build up treasure with this, which is pretty crazy. You can't do that with altars. Like, oh, you're going to play a kill spell on my guy. Well, I'll sack it. I'll make a treasure for a little bit later.
Right.
Free sack outlets, we were saying, is pretty nifty.
That's pretty good. All right, I think that's where we're going to end this set review part. So we'll do our segments.
Yeah. All right, we'll start with my crazy card. Let's do Warren Soul Trader.
Your Jane combo.
Yeah, in my Jane combo, I said your crazy card. But Warren Soul Trader, this is going to be a combo. You got to have your Blood Artist, right? That's going to replace the life. But what better creature than Grave Crawler? He costs 1, right? You pay the 1 treasure. He comes back in. You keep going over and over. You get infinite draining the life. GG. Classic, right? Can't go better than that. This is already a zombie. Usually with Gravecrawler, you need a zombie, like another part, which is usually like your commander or something, or you're playing zombie. This is it. This is already there. Is it jank? Maybe not today. That's a pretty good combo.
All right, Corey's. Corey's crazy card. Crazy card this week is Falling Star. It's 2 in a red for a sorcery. Flip Falling Star onto the playing area from a height of at least a foot. Falling Star deals 3 damage to each creature it lands on. Tap all creatures dealt damage by Falling Star. If Falling Star doesn't turn completely over at least once during the flip, it has no effect. This is a card from Legends.
Yup. So this is one of the few actual dexterity type cards.
Yeah.
You actually
have to flip the card.
Pretty good.
That's why it's silly and crazy.
The classic Chaos Orb was like from Alpha that does this.
They actually have rulings on this too. It must flip like a coin, not a frisbee.
Yeah, it's got to do at least, I think, 2 flips.
Just one.
Just one flip. Yep.
And only cards touched when it stops moving are affected, not while it's moving.
Yep. I'm pretty sure this is banned in Commander and banned everywhere.
Is it? I don't think it is.
Let's check it out.
Oh, yeah, it is. It's banned.
Yeah, it's got to be banned everywhere. Yep. Yeah, this was early Magic, just kind of thinking outside the box. I love it, but
funny card.
That's just not what Magic is anymore. All right,
and again, if you like any of these cards, you can pick them up using our TCG Player affiliate link, which can be found in the show notes in our website at mtgplace.net.
And you can help support the show at patreon.com. We have different tiers of involvement to help you get different perks. Also, just come hang out with us by joining our Discord and come talking to us.
Don't forget to hit like and subscribe to be notified of all our videos and podcasts when they're released. Thanks for listening. Bye, everybody.
See ya.